What's up, everyone? Josh here from KeepItTechie, where I help you learn Linux and break into the tech field one command at a time. And before we get into it, real quick, if you like thoughtful tech content that helps you understand what's actually happening under the hood, go down and hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around. It really helps the channel, and it tells YouTube this kind of content matters. Now, let me ask you real quick. If your hard drive is encrypted and only you know the password, is your data actually private? Because today we're talking about something that sounds secure on paper, looks secure in marketing, but cracks a little once you understand how it really works. Because earlier this year, it came out that Microsoft provided BitLocker recovery keys to the Federal Bureau of Investigation as part of a criminal investigation. And before anyone jumps to conclusions, this wasn't a hack, this wasn't a breach, this wasn't malware, this was by design. So today, I don't want to rant, I don't want to scare you, I want to slow it down, explain how this works, why it matters, and what you can do differently, especially if you're running Linux or thinking about switching. So let's get to it. Now, first off, let's start with the basics. BitLocker is Microsoft's built-in full disk encryption system. It's been around for years, and on modern Windows machines, it's often enabled automatically. And that part sounds great. Full disk encryption means if your laptop is stolen, if the drive is removed, if someone boots from external media, they can't read the data without the key. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When BitLocker is enabled, Windows strongly encourages users to back up their recovery key to their Microsoft account. Not a USB drive, not a printed copy, not a password manager, Microsoft's cloud. You might be wondering why? Because it's convenient, so they say. And if you forget your password, if the TPM trips, if Windows locks itself, you log into your Microsoft account and retrieve the key. That convenience is the entire story, because in a 2025 case tied to a fraud investigation in Guam, the FBI served Microsoft with a warrant requesting those recovery keys. And Microsoft was compliant, not because they were hacked, not because encryption failed, but because they had the keys. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth. Encryption only protects you from people who don't have the keys. So the real question isn't, is BitLocker encrypted? The real question is, who can access the keys? Because once a third party can retrieve your encryption key, whether it's a company, a government, or an attacker, your data is no longer end-to-end protected. This is where a lot of people say, well, I'm not doing anything illegal. That's not the point. Privacy isn't about hiding wrongdoing. It's about ownership. It's about whether your data belongs to you or whether it belongs to whoever controls the infrastructure. And this is where Linux folks tend to pause and go, wait, that wouldn't fly here. And you're right. So let's compare designs. Windows plus BitLocker, which is the default path. The disk is encrypted. Recovery keys stored in Microsoft Cloud. Microsoft can technically retrieve it. Law enforcement can compel access. Now compare that with alternatives. On Mac, you have File Vault, also offers recovery options, but Apple allows users to store the key in an encrypted form that Apple itself cannot read. Same with platforms like WhatsApp, where backups can be end-to-end encrypted using a key only the user controls. The difference isn't encryption strength, it's key custody. Who holds the master key? Microsoft's model prioritizes recovery convenience. Linux's model prioritizes user responsibility. And that's a philosophical difference, not a technical limitation. Now, let me show you what this looks like on Linux. When you install most Linux distros and check encrypt disk, you usually get LUKS. That means your encryption key is derived from your passphrase. There is no cloud backup by default. There is no vendor key escrow. If you lose the passphrase, your data is gone forever. Now that sounds scary until you realize what that means. No company can hand over what they don't have. And yes, that also means you need to manage backups responsibly. And therefore, Linux trades convenience for sovereignty. Now let's be fair and balanced. One common misconception is Microsoft is spying on everyone. No, this was a lawful request under a warrant. The issue isn't intent, it's architecture. Now, another misconception, this only affects criminals. Wrong. This affects journalists, activists, IT administrators, business owners, anyone handling sensitive data. And a real risk, if Microsoft can retrieve those keys, so can a compromised insider. Also, so can a breach of cloud infrastructure or a foreign government under different legal regimes. The design creates a single point of failure. So what should you actually do? If you're staying on Windows, do not store BitLocker keys in the Microsoft cloud. Back them up offline. Understand your threat model. And if you're switching to Linux, use full disk encryption. Use strong, memorable passphrases and back up encrypted data, not keys. Now, the bigger picture, this isn't about Windows versus Linux. This is about convenience versus control. And I've talked about this in the past. And it's also about defaults versus intention and ownership versus permission. Linux doesn't make you safer automatically. Linux makes you responsible. And that's the trade-off. Now, here's what I want you to take away from this. Encryption isn't a checkbox, it's a system. And systems are shaped by incentives. Big tech optimizes for fewer support tickets, easier recovery, mass usability. Linux optimizes for transparency, user agency, local control. Neither approach is evil, but only one of them treats you as the final authority. So the next time you see your data is protected, ask yourself, protected from who and by whom? Now, if this video has got you thinking, drop a comment down below. I read them all. If you're new here, welcome to the community. And as I always say, keep learning, keep exploring, and of course, keep it techie. Peace, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Yo, what's up, y'all? Listen, if you've been sitting there thinking about making a move, let me tell you, tech is where it's at. I don't care where you're coming from, whether you've got a degree, a GED, or just pure hustle. There's room for you in this game. You see, tech is more than just keyboards and code. It's solving problems, creating opportunities, and building the future. You already have what it takes because tech doesn't care where you start. It cares where you're willing to go. You can teach yourself Linux, learn Python, break into cybersecurity, or even launch your own app. And the resources are out here for free. And yes, you heard me, free. Now, yeah, it's gonna take effort. You'll have to grind, but think about this. The time is gonna pass anyway. So why not invest it in a skill that'll change your life? I mean, tech doesn't just pay the bills, it opens doors to freedom, stability, and generational wealth. So stop doubting yourself, start small, stay consistent, and keep building. Because this isn't just a career, it's a movement. And guess what? You belong here. So let's get it, because the future is yours to build. Keep it techie.
Wow.